Hey everybody, it's the Boss Lady here, coming to you with Talk About It Tuesday. My topic for today is love. Now I know I am a week early, according to Hallmark, because Valentine's Day is next Tuesday. But for those who do not recall, Boss Lady doesn't actually celebrate Valentine's Day. Boss Man and I, we stopped celebrating Valentine's Day probably when we got married. I mean, we still, may get a card or some candy, but it's not like we go all out, dress up, fancy dinners, big gifts, stuff like that. Just because we celebrate each other all year long. So we both decided that, we don't need a specific day to lavish each other with gifts and things. So I wanted to talk about love though, because love is something that one wants always. And I've been talking with some young people where they're desiring love and they're looking for love in all the wrong places. I know there's few who either they're in relationships where the person is abusive to them, or they're doing things in the relationship just to keep a person, whether it's having sex or having babies or whatever. And they really want to be loved, but they don't know how to go about it. And then, there are just people who they don't have anyone and they desire it. I've had many of conversations where people tell me I'm very lucky to have Boss Man, and, they want someone to love them like he loves me. And I can't say that I'm lucky. All I can say is I'm blessed. First things first is, I always sought God in whatever I wanted for my life. And after, going through a bad relationship, I got on my knees and I prayed and I told God exactly what I wanted in my life. And He granted me my desire. So, it's just being faithful to the Lord, and He blessed me. But, I sit back and I think about different people, wanting to be loved. And the first thing is you got to love yourself. If you don't love self, how can you expect someone to love you? How can you give love to anyone if you're not loving yourself? And that even goes, to, people having children. If you don't love yourself, how can you love a baby? You know what I mean? So I really want, people to take a look at self first. There's a lot of people who desire love, who want to be in relationships and be in marriages and, and have all this, what they see as this big picture. But until you love yourself, you cannot love anyone else. So, and that was one thing after my bad relationship I had, I did a lot of self reflection and asking God, to work on me. And if He worked on me, then after He worked on me, then I gave Him the parameters of what I wanted in my life. I wanted someone tall and handsome and, work ethic and no babies, no baby mama drama. Someone who was going to love my child because they were not her biological father, but love her and then, also love me. So, I had a list, and what I have always been taught is be very specific in your prayer. Do not waver. I mean, unless you don't care, be very specific. And so I was very specific in my prayer on, what I wanted as a mate, and I was blessed. So, for anyone who's looking for love, start praying. And if you're in a marriage and it doesn't seem like, things are happy, start praying. Now, don't get me wrong, Boss Man and I, we do argue, we do disagree. There's times where, I get that ugly attitude and won't speak. And then I get that ugly attitude and say too much. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, we still love each other. And, we have now been together almost 24 years where, we can push each other's buttons and then we know when to back off. So, and that's just us. I mean, it works for us. So if you're looking for love, the first thing you need to do is start with self. And if you start with self, then everything else will fall into place. So that's all I want to talk to you guys about this week. You guys have a great day, and I will see everybody in a new video. Bye-bye.